The 35,000 heavily redacted pages were obtained by the American Civil Liberties Union after a lengthy court battle with the Department of Homeland Security over a Freedom of Information Act request. They contain hundreds of instances of minors alleging abuse by Border Patrol agents all along the U.S.-Mexico border. The minors say they were beaten while handcuffed, run over in ATVs, and bitten by dogs assisting agents. The complaints cover the years between 2009 and 2014. DHS followed up on many of the complaints, but did not release their findings to the public. Parts of these investigations have now been released as part of the litigation. Sarah Thompson is an attorney with the ACLU of San Diego and Imperial counties.
Yeah, so a lot of these investigations are closed. It all happens in a black box. So the individual investigations of what the results were for the individual kids, all of that happens behind closed doors, and we only know some of that because of the FOIA request.
The documents, along with audio and video interviews of agents and minors, paint a disturbing picture of the treatment of unaccompanied minors in Border Patrol custody after they're caught trying to cross the border. In one video, a teenage girl describes being made to fully undress after her arrest by a Border Patrol agent. A 2009 allegation details a Border Patrol agent putting his hand down a teenage girl's waistband. A 2014 allegation describes stripping a teenage boy down to his underwear and leaving him in a cold room for hours. And another has a Border Patrol agent hitting a teenager with a flashlight as he calls them a liar.
These documents absolutely show how the culture of this type of behavior and abuse is very deeply rooted within the agency and is definitely not a result of just a few bad apples, as they like to say.
While the documents don't cover any allegations from over the past 5 years, the ACLU says that the type of abuse alleged by CBP remains common inside the agency, especially as Central American migrants have filled Border Patrol stations over the past year. This week, KPBS broke the story of a 9-year-old held in Border Patrol custody, whose lawyer said she was not receiving medical care for a stomach ailment.
We don't have any evidence that anything has changed, and in fact, things seem to just be getting worse and worse. And so I think that one of the big functions of this batch of documents, it's very voluminous, and I don't expect anyone to go through the whole thing, but I think the long timeline of it, these records start in 2009, which is now 10 years ago, and we're still dealing with these problems today.
The ACLU hopes that journalists, politicians, lobbyists, and others will dig into the documents to learn more about the extent of the allegations. Customs and Border Protection has not yet responded to a request for comment on the documents. Max Rivlin-Nadler, KPBS News.